What the hell is going on here? You think you can take over my show? This is my audience. Hello, everyone. What do you tell me about this? Get out. Get out of camera. You're still in camera. You want to be a star, do you? Go away. Some people are trying to take over one's platform. Welcome back to Movies TV Mad, and welcome to Wednesday's edition of the dceu Daily. James Gunn is nothing but a con man. The DCU was nothing but a brown paper bag full of fresh air. Here's my analogy. You're walking down the street and some con man with a brown paper bag full of fresh air goes, "Oi Mick, would you like to buy this brown paper bag full of fresh air? Everyone's going to be buying them soon, yeah? I'll tell you what, $5 billion to you. Yeah, that's a bargain, mate. I'll give you fucking $5 billion for a brown paper bag full of fresh air." That's what the DCU is. Let's go back and let's think about James Gunn's slate. When it was first announced, I was very, very excited. It seemed good. I was positive about that slate on this very channel. A Superman movie. How was I to know it was going to be a piece of shit? There were some red flags, but I decided to sit on the fence and trust the man, because I had enjoyed his previous movies. I was one of the few people who enjoyed the Suicide Squad, right? I loved his Guardians of the Galaxy. At the time, he only made 2. I liked both of them. A Superman movie was on that slate. A Supergirl movie. Creature of Commandos all sounded great. The auteur, James Mangold, writing and directing a Swamp Thing movie. And that was the beginning of the brown paper bag full of fresh air. Because that movie was never a real thing. That was the beginning of the lie. James Mangold was never ever going to write and direct a Swamp Thing movie. We were lied to. And then on the slate was an Authority movie. Now, I knew jack shit about the Authority, but I assumed they're very similar to the Elite. And I thought, this is perfect for James Gunn to write and direct. I thought, really, he should write and direct an Authority movie rather than a Superman movie, because we know he never wanted to write and direct a Superman movie. He basically told us that in a few words, without blatantly telling us that. Although when he announced he was directing Superman, he kind of said he had to think about it. He didn't know if he wanted to commit 2 years of his time to a film he wasn't particularly invested in. That was very honest, James. Maybe a little bit too honest. How about this? What if The Authority, written and directed by James Gunn, was the first DCU movie? It would have been something to his strengths. It would have been interesting, right? Creating a world of heroes that do things the wrong way. And then later on, a few movies down the line, Superman comes along and thinks to himself, I don't like this. This is wrong. I'm going to change the way people see superheroes. And then they slowly form the Justice League. That's what I assumed they were going to do. But that would make too much narrative fucking sense. There is no Authority movie actually happening now. What a shame. Why announce it? If we don't have a script, we're not making the movie. Surely, right? Why do they announce slates without having a fucking script? Why announce them? He claimed that he announced movies and streaming shows that may never happen just in case they leaked out. What utter bullshit. The man is a serial fucking liar. So there's no Authority now. Waller, something that should be so simple to write and produce for James Gunn, again, right into his Roadhouse, has reached a roadblock. It's not happening. It's not happening. Then there was the lie that we were getting a Sergeant Rock movie by a critically acclaimed writer-director whose name I can't pronounce, so I'm not going to kill it. Talented man. He was attaching talented names. This slate, to me, and to many people was quite impressive. I didn't mean to be a shill, I was just being honest. It looked impressive, but it was all a brown bag, a brown paper bag full of fresh air. It was all a lie. This slate was something that James Gunn pulled out the back of his backside, the back of his arse. None of it was real. What have we had thus far from this slate? We've had Creature Commandos, an animated series, right? Haven't seen it, can't judge it because I haven't seen it. It's on HBO Max. I don't have access to HBO Max. By the way, Warner Brothers, Apple TV is available in Cyprus, yeah? So clearly if Apple can do it, why can't you? Anyway, it doesn't matter because your DC streaming shows are shite anyway. Even though, well, we've had Peacemaker 2, which I haven't seen either, just heard about. Sounds utter shite as well. I love the first series of Peacemaker. But season 2 of Peacemaker, reportedly, is just about kind of, doing the thing with the, the connected universe. The great thing about Peacemaker 1, it had really nothing to do with anything. It was quite disconnected. It was meant to be part of the DCEU, but not that much. So I enjoyed Peacemaker. It was very James Gunn. It played to his strengths. It was quite inventive. I like the idea of the butterflies. It was all very inventive and interesting. You can, even if you hate James Gunn, which I don't have an agenda against James Gunn. I speak as I find, and I find your behaviour since you become co-CEO of DC Studios, James, as a role of a con man, trying to get hype by posting pictures of comic book art, right? So we had Creature Commandos and we've had Superman. I've seen Superman. I didn't like Superman. I believe it's the worst Superman film ever made. I believe the movie was blocked and shot terribly. It was made in a rush. While he was making it, he was pissing off to see what was going down on the Peacemaker 2 set and location. You can't be making a Superman movie, then pissing off at the weekend to check out what's going on with Peacemaker 2 and directing an episode or so, or however many he directed, of Peacemaker 2. If you're making a Superman movie, you've got to focus on the Superman movie. A Superman movie should be great. You should have a vision. All he had to say about Superman was, he's an angry, straight white man. All he had to say about Lex Luthor is that he's an angry, straight white guy. And Jimmy Olsen, a straight white guy who women love. Women want to sleep with him. I hate to say this about the actor, and I know oil painting, but why would women want to sleep with him? Doesn't make any sense. You see, unlike a lot of people, I really like Jimmy Olsen. I think he's a very important character in the Superman mythos, because I look at him as this teenage school leaver who comes and works for the greatest, most famous newspaper in the world and befriends the greatest superhero in the world, who gives him a watch so he can contact him at any time. What a beautiful thing. Imagine doing that properly, giving it justice. At least Zack Snyder was honest. He didn't believe in Jimmy Olsen. He wasn't interested in Jimmy Olsen, so he gave us a little Jimmy Olsen cameo, which was kind of interesting as a CIA agent, but that was it. Because he doesn't agree with me, that Jimmy Olsen is an important character in the Superman mythos. And that's okay. We can disagree. But what Zack Snyder gave me was a lot better than what James Gunn gave me. From the beginning, this was all lies. And this week again, more lies. They're lying through the media without clarifying it themselves that they are developing a V for Vendetta show and a Jimmy Olsen show. Why aren't they confirming it? Why are they doing it through the media but not saying anything themselves? So they have deniability when it doesn't happen. And believe you me, it's not going to happen, everyone. Simple as that. You will never ever see a V for Vendetta show. You will never see a Jimmy Olsen show. A Man of Tomorrow may never go into production. That's the reality here. Warner Brothers Discovery is about to be sold. The new company may want nothing to do with James Gunn. So what are they doing? Unofficially announcing shit through the media. Why did they greenlight Man of Tomorrow? To put pressure on the new company that owns Warner Brothers Discovery WBD into keeping them in pole position at DC Studios, because they know there's little chance of being kept in pole position at DC Studios. That's what he's doing here. And then there's Lanterns and Supergirl. Both projects have been finished. They should be getting trailers, but I believe that those trailers are going to be used as an advert to be used, to be shelved. These projects will probably be shelved as a tax write-off. These are my predictions. I don't know. I don't know anything. These are my theories. I'm very comfortable, you should know that by now, about being wrong. I'm not here to go viral. I don't need the money. I'm here because I'm passionate about entertainment, movies and TV. Because of entertainment, movies and TV, I decided not to take my own life as a child. I suffered with anxiety, depression, learning difficulties, and great movies and great TV were my friend. My television was a portal to another dimension of entertainment. I needed that escape. That's the reason young people today suffer with so much depression and anxiety. They don't have an escape. Through movies, they're kept in the real world instead of given an escape. And that's disgusting and that's terrible. It's why I'm writing Saving Judy Garland. It's why I'm writing its sequel, Saving Norma Jean. It's why I want to create an entertainment company called Movies TV Mad, a safe space for artists to create entertainment that uplifts people. A place where women and men are not raped and harassed. It's the bare minimum people working in the industry, in any industry, deserve. The entertainment industry, the Western English-speaking entertainment industry, has always been an illicit place of illicit activity. As I keep on saying, we need a bulldozer to knock down English-speaking Western entertainment. Start again. Start little entertainment companies like Movies TV Mad. But I need help. I need someone with money and experience in the industry and who has finance to help me launch my little company so we can make Saving Judy Garland, so we can make its sequel, Saving Norma Jean. And I have plenty of other ideas and concepts. I'm about originality. I don't want to work with the mainstream industry. I want to move away from them. I don't want them with their words and their nonsense, right? Because the nonsense that modern entertainment is today, the way they expect people to work with their PC nonsense, right? The way when I hear Jennifer Lawrence and other twats like her speak, I think to myself, how does a director ever make a movie with these fucking idiots around? I don't want to work with these people. You can't work in entertainment and make good entertainment under the parameters that New Hollywood has decided to work under. So that's my vision and that's my passion. But I believe that James Gunn is the ultimate con man. That's what his conduct has been, in my opinion, since he became co-CEO of DC Studios. He conned us. He lied to us. He announced a slate, which most of it was untrue, which he knew was never gonna happen. A few months down the line, he backtracks. A few months ago, he asked all the media to turn up so he could tell them that a lot of that slate was not gonna happen. Imagine that. The media were not happy. He literally wasted their fucking time. They know he's a con man, right? They know the DCU is a fraud and is a lie. I always hear this, who's going to be the DCU Batman? There's going to be no DCU Batman. There never will be a DCU Batman. It's utter bullshit. The distraction of, should Pattinson be the DCU Batman? It's never going to happen because there's no DCU Batman. Do you remember I exclusively told you that Brave and the Bold was nothing but a facade and bullshit? That it was never going to happen. Brave and the Bold is not going to happen. Right? Half of the projects on that bullshit slate are never going to happen. At least with the DCEU, with the projects that never happened, they wanted them to happen. But studio interference stopped the stuff on that slate from happening. This is not what's happened at DC Studios. The slate was basically a fucking lie, and now they're moving away from that slate totally, as many people online and on social media have said so. I wanted James Gunn to deliver a great DC universe. I want someone somewhere to deliver a great DC universe. What's sure now, that's not going to be Mr. James Gunn.